guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, welcome, and if you haven't heard, they have finally announced the massive patch coming to Arena Valor on August 30th. We have recorded part 1, which is all the in-game breakdowns that we had to break down, that are all the changes that are coming to the game. Broken that in part 1. Now in part 2, we're going to be breaking down the item changes for you guys, and in part 3, we're going to be covering hero changes. Now let's go ahead and get started with items. Looks like we're going to be starting with Blitzblade today. Blitzblade has had the price decrease from 2020 to 1780. They've changed the crafting build of it. The attributes have changed. They decreased the attack from 60 to 50, and they increased the attack speed from 30 to 35%. Now they've changed the unique passive, Chain Lightning. Now instead of triggering every 8 seconds, it's going to trigger every 4 seconds. Just a big deal. Cutting anything, you cut anything in half in this game, it is a big deal. In this case, it's going to be a big buff to this item. The damage dealt has been changed, however, from 150 plus 20% attack damage as physical damage to 102 plus 7 per level of magic damage. Now, this is kind of a two-way thing. First of all, it's a buff for it to go from physical to magic damage, because as marksmen who are generally going to use this item, or really anyone who uses this item, anyone that could use this item, for example, Kilgroth or any heavy attack speed main warrior, getting other kinds of damage added into your kit, like magic damage instead of physical damage, is always going to be good. And now, the damage overall total is nerfed. Now, it's going from 150 to 102 base, and instead of 20% AD, it's going to 7 per level. Now, one of the things I really like about that personally is that it's not going to change a tremendous amount. Now, some people, most marksmen who are going to take this item, or heavy damage dealers, warriors, attack speed warriors who are going to take this item, are going to build really heavily on the damage side. Now, this may become an item that it becomes a little bit more attractive to be taken on some, you know, off-tank types, warrior types, but for the most part, 20% AD is going to end up being somewhere in between 50 and 125 damage, depending on how much attack damage you build. So in that, let's say in the middle of 100 damage, if you build 500 attack damage, you'll be getting 100 extra damage, so that'll be 250 total. And with the changes, 102 plus 7 per level, at level 15, you'll be getting about 207 extra magic damage. So it's a little bit less damage, but it's magic instead of physical, which I think is a pretty big deal personally. Alright, and then we're going to be moving on to the second part of that, which is the damage is multiplied when used at range. Now, we don't know what sort of multiplication. Hopefully it's times 2. 1.5, you know, it could be multiplied times a whole bunch of different things. Now, if it's just multiplied times 2, then you're talking about doing 414 extra magic damage at level 15 as a ranged hero like a marksman. That's not bad. Every 4 seconds, because that damage happens to everyone around. It's not just like a single target damage thing. That might make Blitzblade a very viable item on most ranged marksmen. We'll have to really get into the nitty-gritty and test it out to find out for sure, but I think that might be something that might change the item from basically never used to something that's used a little more frequently. Next, we're moving on to the item Shuriken. Decrease the price, decrease the attack speed, and they simply rescaled the way the passive damage worked, so that now it does less damage to melee heroes and more damage to ranged heroes. So that's interesting. Then they removed the item Ancestral Glory altogether from the game, and they added an item called Blade of Eternity. Now let's go over that. The starting price is 2,400 gold. The crafting recipe is light armor and cleaving claymore. They've gotten we've got 120 base armor and the unique passive Fighting Spirit, increasing damage by 10%. Really interesting item. And then revive on the spot 2 seconds after death with 2,000 plus 100 per hero level HP. So level 15, you get 3,500 health. Has a 150 second cooldown, and the ability can activate up to 2 times in a single match. So it does have a cap at 2 reses. That's 2 interesting passives that we have here. And you know, increasing damage by 10% is interesting. Armor it's just a really interesting item. Now, we're going to have to figure out exactly who's going to take this now. This could go on really all damage dealers. Could use a 10% damage increase, get the free armor to be a little more tanky, and then be res twice in a game with 150-second cooldown, which is 2.5 minutes. Definitely, I think, a lot more interesting of an item than Ancestral Glory was. The damage is flat increase, so this can be taken on mages, you know, magic damage dealers, as well as physical damage dealers. But definitely, I think a lot more interesting than Ancestral Glory, and I'm excited to see how it's going to fit into the game. Next item we're covering is Barris Agony. Barris Agony, so they changed the passive Torture. Changed from dealing magic damage equal to 4% of the target's current HP with a 1.2 second cooldown to dealing magic damage equal to 3% of the target's current HP. So it went from 4% of the current HP to 3%, but then it's 3% of the target's current HP per second for 3 seconds, up to 80% against monsters. So that is a massive buff. It goes from 4% flat to 3%, so that's 9% over 3 seconds. And on heroes that, and I don't really see it say anywhere that there's a cooldown. I don't think they'll probably stack. Like, they won't stack, like, you're not, like, if you hit somebody twice with 2 abilities, I don't know that it's going to, you know, do 6% a second, but it might, like, backlog. Like, if you hit somebody with 2 abilities, instead of doing it for 3 seconds, it's going to do it up to 6 seconds. I'm not quite sure how that works, or maybe it'll just refresh. So if you hit somebody with an ability and it ticks twice and you've lost 2 seconds, then it'll go from 1 second left to 3 again. That is a question that needs to be asked and needs to be figured out once the patch comes live. We'll fiddle around with it and test it out and figure that out for sure. But regardless, that's a huge damage buff. I mean, especially for heroes that do a lot of poke damage. That's a lot of poke every time. Bam, bam, bam. You know, that'll be good on somebody like Maganga. It'll be probably solid on somebody like Raz, who can constantly be throwing his poke damage out. We're going to have to take a closer look at that when the patch comes out, but I really, really like the changes to Barris Agony. I think it makes it a much more viable item in the game. Virtue's Bracelet is another non-full build item. It's a tier 2 item instead of a tier 3 full build item. They reduced the price by 300. They changed the recipe, and then they changed the cooldown reduction from 10 to 5%, and they changed the magic attack from 60 to ability power plus 60. I don't really know what the difference is there. I don't know what a magic attack even is, but whatever. It's changed a little bit. Not a big deal because it's a tier 2 item, not a tier 3 item. But then we're moving into the next tier 3 item, which is Virtue's Necklace. They reduced the price by 60 gold. They changed the crafting recipe. They added ability power to it. They took the cooldown reduction from 20 to 10%, which is a massive change. And then they added Magic Pierce to it. I personally don't like that change very much at all. The Magic Pierce is fine. Virtue's Necklace is an item that is almost always taken first, and it's almost always taken first for the same reason. If you're on a very mana-dependent hero, somebody who spams abilities early games to clear waves and to get poke on, and who needs to constantly regen mana, Virtue's Necklace is good for those heroes. Now, the cooldown reduction was nice to have in those builds for heroes like that, so I'm going to miss the cooldown reduction. The ability power is a small increase, nothing crazy, and then the passive for the cooldown reduction decrease is a bummer, but the passive for the Magic Pierce is nice to have, but it's not like, I don't think it's a massive game changer. Alright, moving on to Bow of Slaughter. Alright, and Bow of Slaughter just had a price increase from 2,300 to 2,420, which is nice to have. Bow of Slaughter was a very common item, and so it's kind of overpowered. I think the price increase is warranted. 100 gold is not going to kill it, but it just makes it a little bit. Now you're thinking a little bit more about buying it, because obviously the cost of your total build is important and it matters. Next is the Hunter's Crossbow, which of course is the very first jungle item taken, the tier 1 jungle item. The EXP from defeating monsters increased from 15% to 20%. Now this is a big deal for one reason and one reason only, is because they did nerf jungling quite a bit, the EXP and the gold early game. Now this helps balance it out a little bit. So really, hopefully what it does is it dissuades people who are smart from stealing early game jungle, so the jungler can have it all and try to make level 4 and still get quality ganks off. Okay, so then moving on to all the jungling equipment upgrades that are happening. We are going to EXP, okay, so the tier 2 items, so this is all tier 2 and tier 3 items. You guys see here, Monster's Bane, Null Cleaver, Mr. Stabby, Whispering Wind, Loki's Curse. So it's Monster's Bane, Null Cleaver, Mr. Stabby are tier 2 items. Whispering Wind, Loki's Curse, Leviathan, Soul Weaver, and Scorching Wind. Or, sorry, there's 4 tier 2 items and 4 tier 3 items there. All of them are getting an increase of EXP from 30 to 35%. So that's good. They're trying to, you know, not nerf junglers too hard, but nerf the actual taking of the jungle and what the benefits are from that early game and mid game. So not too bad. Flashy boots are getting a buff, and I like that buff a lot. Okay, so they're going from 690 to 710 in gold price, but the cooldown reductions are going from 10 to 15%. I think flashy boots at times are a very warranted item. Now I think they're even more warranted. You combine those with another item that has, I really like that a lot. That's going to be, I think, make them a more viable option than just taking, you know, your basic 2 boots or 3 boots. You usually take speed boots, you take Gilded Greaves, and you take the Sonic boots. So this is going to make this a little bit more of a better option at times. Next change is to the ages. Fix the bug where attack speed reduction from the unique passive did not work against Iron Body heroes. I have no clue what an Iron Body hero is, but that's good to know. So it's fixed. It's working better now than it used before. Asterian's Buckler has been completely removed from the game. See you later. Goodbye. Have a good day. Now they're adding new equipment. They're adding an entire equipment category, support items. This is phenomenal. I've been calling for this to be items. Now I just want you guys to look at the passive down here. Wage. Earn 5 gold or XP every 3 seconds if you are earning the least gold or the lowest level on your team. That is going to help mages be more viable so much in this game, and I'm really excited about that. This is the kind of item that I've been waiting for and I've been preaching about for a while because League of Legends has it, and I've been waiting for it in AoV, and this is the kind of item that may make me want to be a support. Being so far down in gold all the time sucks. Now this helps tremendously. So we have Windstone. This is a starting support item. It gives you 300 gold. It gives you 5%, so you can buy this from the beginning of the game. 5% movement speed, mana regen, and then earn 5 gold or XP. So the passive. So this is going to be for your mage supports like Alice, Pura, and etc. Waterstone, same price. HP regen plus 20, mana regen plus 10. Grants a stack of this buff every 30 seconds for a max of 2 stacks when a minion is killed within 8 meters. 1 stack is consumed and the nearest ally is granted gold and XP. So that first one is going to give you gold and XP when you're lowest on your team. This one is going to give somebody nearby. So you get a buff every 30 seconds for a max of 2 stacks. When a minion is killed nearby within 8 meters, 1 stack is consumed and the nearest ally is granted 15 gold and 40 XP. That's really interesting. We got to find out a little bit more in game of exactly how that works, but essentially it's to get carries fed faster. So that could 15 gold and 40 XP doesn't seem like a lot, but you know, that happening repeatedly, it's not bad. Like if a jungler comes into your lane and you kill 2 minions, you're going to get 30 gold and 40 XP as long as they have 2 stacks built up, which is interesting. It's a nice little item right there. Now we're going into Wind Rider Talisman. This is tier 2 of that item set. 175 armor, 40 HP regen, 15 mana regen, 5% movement speed. Again, earn gold, 5 gold or XP every 3 seconds. And then the unique passive distinction, earn an additional 30% gold and XP after a kill or assist. So you just earn a bunch of extra gold, which is nice to have, especially on the assist part for supports. Oh, you guys can't see it. So look at the passive right there. Earn 5 gold or EXP if you are earning the least. Oh no, sorry, the second part. Earn an additional 30% gold in EXP after a kill or assist. That's awesome. Then we're going to be going to the second tier 2 support item. That's going to be Ring of Gale. 850 price, 60 ability power, 20 mana regen, 5% movement speed. The same, you know, earning money for being the lowest on the team, and then earn an additional. So the same thing. Okay. Then we're going to Crystal Talisman. So these are just different variations of the same item. This is another tier 2. Whoops. This is another tier 2 item. 850 gold, 120 armor this time. And it's the same thing. It's the second part. It's the stacks. It gives you the stacks that help give other people money. And then a different passive grants hero and nearby hero allies within 600 units 20 HP regen and 10 mana regen. +1 per level and +1 per level. So that's really solid, guys. Giving extra HP and mana to your carry nearby is a big deal. These are big time game changers. Really awesome to have support items in the game. I'm so stoked for this. Then we have Steam Bracers, another tier 2 support item. 10% cooldown reduction, great. And then it's the second set of so there's 2 tier 1, there's 4 tier 2, and then we're gonna be moving on to the tier 3 items. Essence of the Wind. 1850 is the price, 250 armor, 600 HP, movement speed, HP regen, mana regen. You're getting all of it right there. Sick. For your tanky supports, this is a sick item. Earn gold and XP for being low on your team. Earn additional gold and XP per kill or assist. And then the unique passive Tempest Shield right here grants a shield that absorbs 800 plus 80 per level. So that's literally 1600 at level 10, going all the way up to 2000 at level 15. So you grant a shield that absorbs all that damage to nearby hero with the lowest HP. Sick. So that's an active. We've already had our taste of active items. Remember, we have Bow of Slaughter, which has an active. We have the Frost Orb, which has an active, which makes you immune to damage. Bow of Slaughter obviously gives you a massive increase in your life steal temporarily. Now, this is another active. It also increases the hero's movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds, with only a 45% cooldown reduction. Now, in my opinion, I haven't even seen the other ones. This is strong. This is a very strong item. This is going to be, I mean, that's a massive shield. 3,000 damage and a massive movement speed increase. That is going to save a lot of people's lives. As a support's job to keep people alive, you're going to be able to protect your carry way faster. Or use it in the opposite manner. Your carry's trying to get into the end of the fight to really finish people off and declare that team fight a victory for your team. This is going to help tremendously, and I'm really excited. Oh man, I'm so stoked for some freaking support items. This is such great news for the game. Next is Ring of the Fiend. 1850 on the price. Again, ability power plus 90, cooldown 15, movement speed 5, and mana regen 30. Phenomenal item for your Alice's and Curas and Magangas, and maybe even Shagnar if that's the route you're going to take. This is for your AP support heroes. Awesome. Now we got the passives. Wage increase. So the gold and XP for 3 seconds. The XP or gold on XP and gold for kill or assist. Give vision of the nearest enemy unit for 4 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. The shield was good, guys, but this is also awesome. You get 4 seconds of vision on somebody. Imagine using that on somebody like Lindis. Lindis comes in to poke or comes in to do something, and she likes going in and out of those bushes, and it can be tricky because there's a delay of when she becomes visible and when she goes invisible. It's a mess. Or any of your assassin type heroes, or Wukong when he's invisible, or Batman. Massive, awesome item. Really looking forward to this one also. Then we're moving on to Tide Caller's Mark. This is our third support tier 3 item. 600 HP, 200 armor, tank, and then grants a stack of this buff so you get the stack for the extra gold and XP to nearby enemies or nearby heroes. Grants hero and nearby allies. You get the HP regen and mana regen, and then of course the final one increases nearby allies damage dealt by 5% and damage reduction by 10%. So there is your Assyrian Buckler passive right in inside of my ear. This is so much better of an item than Assyrian's Buckler, guys. It gives so much extra cool stuff. Really loving it. And your fourth support tier 3 item. This is awesome game changing stuff, guys. I can't even tell you how excited I am. 1850 price again, 500 HP, 15% cooldown reduction. So those are much lower base stats than all the other items. It's got the same 2 buffs, the same devotion and tidal force, and then the last passive is Purifying Spell. Removes control effects on one nearby ally, and it restores, so this is an active, also restores target's HP by 160 plus 30 per level, so that's start at 160. At level 10, it'll be 460, and at level 15, it'll be 610 extra HP. Increases target's movement speed by 20% for 1 second, and grants immunity to movement speed reduction for 2 seconds as a 90-second cooldown. So this is different, right? This is not the same as the other item, which was, or as it's not total immunity to cooldown or to crowd control effects. Any hard crowd control like knockbacks, knockups, stuns are still going to go into effect. It just slows. Then that slows you down, you're totally immune to it. So this is again another ability to help you break control effects and help a carry get out of dodge and get safety. So really solid item. But that's 4 tier 3 support items. Super awesome game-changing things. And that is it, guys. That is all of the item changes that we have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed all the item changes. I know that I am super stoked for the support items coming into the game. I think they're going to be big time different makers. But guys, thank you for watching part 2. Get ready for part 3, which is going to cover all the hero balance changes, and there is quite a few of those, guys. Thanks for watching, and as always, the next time.